The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
First Week Podcast. Recording this on a Thursday, September 18th, 2025 for the Friday show. How you guys doing? It is yet another end to the week here, and we're about to get things rolling. Lots of things to talk about on the show today. So I bring up my notes here first off. We're going to talk about the Canelo flight, Canelo Crawford flight from last Saturday that I did miss on Netflix, Special on Records. Awful Announcing also announces their top 25 most influential sports personalities of the year. Then some news on ESPN by Molly Querim leaving the company. And of course, I have to redo a segment that I had initially recorded on the show, on the Friday show last week, that if you see on social media, if you see on media, for example, that last segment of the show was actually, the sound actually just went out for some reason. There was a technical issue that I did not catch on until after the fact. Which, by the way, I haven't even edited yet for the record. So I got to get to that first as well. But I want to start personal first and foremost. Because the last week or so, the family car here in the Christian household has been having issues. We took the car to the mechanic late last week, or actually early this week. Well, actually, no, late last week to our first mechanic, who then couldn't identify the problem and then told us pretty much to buy a new car or trade in my car for a newer car. Well, you already know how I roll, guys. I've done shows on this in the past years. I don't want to ever own a new car. I especially hate car payments. I already said that all my cars I own, which I both own outright, my car and my wife's car, our family car, we both own those outright. We've had car payments about 4 or 5 years now, and that's by design. We don't want car payments. Our attitude is we're going to run these cars to the ground. But we also realize that there will be a point in whatever the next 5, 10, whatever 5 years or 2 years, whatever it may be, that we might have to go that route in the event that something goes wrong. I mean, and we are, at least with the family car, we are flirting with that reality in a sense. But, you know, I realize too also cars, especially since post pandemic, you know, the pricing of cars are through the roof. I'm scared to even look at the idea of buying a car. I don't even want to consider it. But we took the car, our truck in to get fixed. We found a new mechanic. We took him in on Monday. He found the problem. We fixed the problem. Paid the money. Done. Man, you guys know how frugal I am. I hate spending money. I hate money. I hate car payments. I hate paying for things. I hate paying for things. It's not, okay, let me rephrase that. It's not I hate paying for things. I hate wasting money. I can't stand wasting money, dude. It is the worst. I can't stand it. So I will never purchase a brand new car ever. I always said I will always get a used car anyway, because any car that's quote unquote brand new, you know, and so anything that depreciates tremendously, like 25%, the minutes off the lot, I'm not owning that. Sorry, not doing it. I mean, that's gonna afford cash, straight cash. No, not doing it. And I also made a decision too, you know, and not that I've already not gone this route through my entire life, but even more so now going forward. I'm never owning any other cars outside of Hondas and Toyotas and Hondas. That's it. I own a Toyota Corolla 2010. Old car, has nearly 130,000 miles. The car runs fantastic. People say, well, you get a new car. You know, this thing looks old. Yeah. Still getting point A, point B. Don't have no mechanical issues. Not, of course. It's working great for me. So why would I buy a car to impress you, to impress this person? Whom am I impressing? I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm trying to get to work and back, run my errands and back, live my life and back. I don't want car payments to impress people that I don't really give a shit about. You know what I'm saying? I don't live my life that way. I'm 45 years old. I'm not trying to impress someone or the ladies, they say, to, no, because number one, I'm married. I'm happily married, in fact. So there's no need for that. My wife, our other car is a 2015 Dodge Journey. And like I said, Dodges is what it is. I love my country. I love America, but I hate the way they manufacture cars. And we knew from day one that getting this Dodge Journey, and the only reason we got the Dodge Journey was because it was a three-row seat. It fits 3 rows of seating. And we're a growing family. Well, at the time we were anyway. Although it was done at 2 kids. But at the time we were still considering having a 3rd kid. Then we decided not to. But having said that, we knew at some point this would come to head. We already put a couple $1,000 in this car already in the last couple of years when it comes to fixing it. It's done its job. We've had this car when it had I think we got this car when it had 6,000 miles. We're now at 96,000. We had it 8 years. It's a 10-year-old car, but we've had it 8 years. And it's done good for us. But we also know that there is definitely a limit. Like, we know once a Dodge crosses 100,000 miles, you're starting to get that territory of now, okay, do what you gotta do, look at the numbers. And we actually considered getting another car, trading the car for another one. But we decided to wait to say, okay, let's wait and see if the repairs to fix the car exceeded $2,000. That was our limit, $2,000. And over $2,000, we're like, okay, we got to get in the car. Because now we have to be, now we're just throwing money in the situation. And on top of that, the first mechanic said that even if we fixed the car, which was the same price he gave us, there was no guarantee that was the problem with the car. So why the hell are you telling us to do this then? We're just giving you money? No, I'm not wasting money. No, I hate wasting money. Hate it. I can't stand it. Even for the idea of maybe becoming a one-car family again, because there was a time we were a one-car family because we didn't really need 2 cars at the time. At the time, there was a time where I was on working, my wife was home, and we had a first kid. I used the car to go to work and back. I have a lifestyle where I don't need to go out much. I don't go out much as is anyway. I'm outside of going to work, and then occasionally going to a random place, which is random again. I don't need a car like 24/7. I can survive without a car, honestly. Like I know this is not. We're not in a very metro area like in New York where you can get an Uber and get Uber everywhere in the cabs and all that. I understand that. It's hard to do it in Florida, especially in Palm Beach County. But I wouldn't. I could still survive without a car. Honestly, I could. In my family, 2 cars it's borderline luxury. But there are a few days a week where 2 cars have become necessary because of our schedules. But But here's the bottom line: I will never own a car until I'll never buy a brand new car ever. Bottom line, not doing it. It'll always be used. Always get a car that's been used and good enough to get me here and back. Because I'm done with payments. I'm done with it. I really am. Anyway, we are approaching week 3. Actually, right now, as I'm recording, week 3 started because as I'm recording this podcast right now, the Dolphins and Bills are on. It's 14-7 Bills and they're driving to score again. This Dolphins team sucks. They're soft. Yeah, they're soft as shit. But it's a lot of overreactions in the league across the board, and both ways. Of teams that are doing well, of the shooting teams doing bad. And I got the same people do every year. They overreact 2 weeks in. I'm like, dude, it's 2 weeks. Relax. It's 2 weeks. No need to overreact now. I know the Colts story is a great story. I see things there that can be sustainable, but now they're gonna play on the road this week against Tennessee. I want to see more. Okay, like what we know in the league right now. What we know is that we know who the best teams in the league are: the Ravens, the Eagles, the Bills. Those teams. We know those are the coup de grace. Packers are most likely in that conversation too. I think Detroit's still there, and we also know that the bad teams, the Titans, the Giants, the Jets, the I almost said the Chiefs for a second. No, 0-2. Titans, Jets, the Saints especially too. We know those the tippy top and the bottom of the barrel. We know who those teams are. That's not going to change. Okay. What I just mentioned were the two teams. The teams that I mentioned at the tip top and at the bottom of the barrel are teams that they will be this way by the end of December and early January. The middle 27, the middle 26, how you want to put it, that's where the mystery comes. So everyone's overreacting to everything. And all I got to say to you guys is you guys need to calm down. Just calm down. Calm down. We got a lot of time ahead of us. I always say, give it 4 weeks. 4 weeks for things to settle in before we start, making narratives. I say that, but I'm also the one who always tend to do like stupid, like overrated, underrated, or like contender pretender after week 2, week 3. It's fun, sports radio topics, but whatever. It is what it is. Anyway, some news from Netflix actually. And I actually missed the fight on Saturday. The Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez fight that happened on Netflix this past Saturday, and it's my fault because I did not want to stay up late. I had to work next day. I wish I watched it though, but they smashed numbers apparently in this fight. So according to Netflix, the event had a global viewership of 41.4 million viewers, making it the most watched men's championship boxing match of the century. The fight, which saw Crawford defeat Canelo by unanimous decision, peaked at over 24 million concurrent streams. In addition to the stream records, the event also set records for live attendance and gate revenue. The fight also drew a crowd of 70,482 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, setting a new record for both the stadium and for a boxing match in Nevada. It also generated a gate of over $47 million, the highest ever for the venue. Now, I was raised as a big boxing fan back in the day. I still like boxing for the most part. But boxing today, and pretty much has been for the last maybe 15 years now, 15, 20 years, outside of, Floyd Mayweather and a couple other guys here and there, they've lacked star power, which is why the popularity of the sport has gone down. I come from an era where Mike Tyson was king. George Foreman was still relevant, obviously. You talk about Lennox Lewis. You talk about all these guys, Michael Moore, all these guys that were very influential. Boxing was a big deal when I was growing up. And through the years, the last 20 years, it has just gone down and down and down. I would dare say UFC, MMA is much more popular now than boxing is. But I'm really curious if this fight, because I know we had the Jake Paul thing, and that's all that's more caricature stuff. Most people looking at talking to that being a joke. But this is big because Canelo is a big deal. Canelo's one of the stars in the last 10, 15 years, the one of the face of the boxing in the last 15 years. So is Terrence Crawford. You see these kind of numbers, and granted, Netflix has been known to fudge numbers here and there to their liking, and that's what because they have. There's no Nielsen ratings on that, so they have access to all the numbers, so they can fudge numbers if they wanted to. But I still agree that people did watch this fight in droves. This was a very highly contested, very highly hyped fight coming into it. I do wonder if this fight and this new platform, instead of putting everything on pay-per-view like it has been in the past, putting it on more accessible streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Paramount Plus and all that, if this will be the thing that really launches boxing back to popularity again. We'll see. We shall see. We saw the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight that happened. Was it last year it happened? And granted, it was a joke, but people still tune in. But this now is legit. The Canelo and Crawford, that's legit. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how that plays out in the years to come. But I hope boxing is back in our the mainstream again as it used to be. Anyway, so Awful announced recently their top 25 most influential sports media personalities of the 2000s rather. It's a very, very I don't think this list is controversial, to be honest with you. I actually like this list, honestly. I'll run it down from 25 to 14 for now. So 25 is Colin Cowherd, Ernie Johnson 24, Michael Strahan 23, Tony Romo 22, the Part My Take guys at 21. 20 is Mike Florio, 19 Dan Lebertard, 18 Menial Kimes, 17 Stuart Scott, 16 Dan Patrick, 15 Jim Nance, and then 14 Herb Herbstreit. I don't disagree with this, man. I think Colin Cowherd could be a little higher. Ernie Johnson should be definitely higher than this. He's been influential for the last 4 years, honestly. Keep it a buck. I think Romo initially had that little spark when he came in. People when he started doing broadcasting in 2015, 2016, or 2017 rather. That's cooled off a little bit in recent years. I think Florio, because of PFT being a big deal, is obviously you have to acknowledge that. Le Batard, of course, I'm a huge fan of Le Batard. Dan Patrick is solid, obviously. Kurt Herbstreit, of course, one of the biggest names in college football. Jim Nantz is the number one team on CBS, NFL CBS, and also does the Masters and all that. So no problem with that list there. All right, 13 through let's go 13 through 11. 13, Bob Costas. I'm a little shocked by that because Bob Costas was huge, but a lot of Bob Costas I think Bob Costas was bigger in the 90s and the 80s. I wouldn't consider him a massive influential guy in the 2000s. Correct me if I'm wrong. 12, Joe Buck. No problem with that. Joe Buck is biggest name on Fox Sports, NFL Fox. The number one guy also for baseball for 4 years. Now he's the number one guy in Monday Night Football. Number 11, Skip Bayless. Polarized. People are going to say this is too high. Here's the thing. I agree with this. Let me tell you why. Because love him or hate Skip Bayless. He's one of the biggest names. People hate Skip Bayless. People hate Skip Bayless. That's influence too. And he was always the one driving a lot of the narratives for a good while when he was on First Take. Obviously not as relevant as he used to be, but between 2007 and 2000 and I'd say 17, 18, he was arguably one of the biggest names in media. All right, let's go top 10 here. Top 10. Number 10, Erin Andrews. She was bigger, I would say, back in the day. Not so much now. Number 9, Pat McAfee. I agree with that. He's been one of the biggest names today in the industry. 8, Dave Portnoy. Not a fan, but honestly, what he's done Barstool Sports, I have to give him credit. Keep it a buck. He's been, he's put that company into where it's at now, and one of the most relevant companies in all sports. Number 7, Doris Burke. Too high, in my opinion, but I also love Doris Burke, and she's actually a phenomenal female analyst for the NBA and ESPN. Number 6, Scott Van Pelt, one of the nicest guys in the industry, certainly solid. It feels a little high, but at the same time, given where he's on ESPN, he's not quite Stephen A. Smith, but he's actually the, if I put like the Mount Rushmore right now, currently, the best personalities on ESPN, he's definitely in Mount Rushmore. Number 5, the combination of Adam Schefter and Adrian Wojnarowski, definitely agree with that. Number 4, the PTI guys are Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon, definitely agree with that. Number 3, Charles Barkley, I can argue he should be higher. Stephen A. Smith, number 2, of course, love or hate him, the guy is still, look, he's getting paid like a superstar. You talk shit about him, but he still comes. And number 1, I agree with this 100%. Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons was the first personality that really, made it as a fan. Really, think about it. Like, he obviously has writing chops, but he was a fan. And what he's done with podcasting and influence that medium, you have to give him credit for that. So this list is pretty good, actually. I actually don't disagree with that list whatsoever. I don't. Speaking of ESPN, massive changes coming to ESPN. Molly Qerim, the longtime host of First Take, confirmed that she is stepping away and leaving the company on her Instagram account, stating that she has decided to close this incredible chapter and stay away from First Take. According to reports, Qerim turned down a new contract offer from ESPN, while she was expected to stay until the end of the year. Her absence from the show and statements from both her and Stephen A. Smith have indicated an abrupt departure. Qerim has not announced her next career move, but she did hint to her followers to stay tuned. ESPN has released a statement praising her professionalism and acknowledging her integral role in the success of First Take over the past decade. I mean, it was kind of quick. Obviously, it sounds like money was an issue. The rumors are coming out now that they asked her to take a pay cut. She turned it down, and away we go. I mean, that's what it is. Gotta be honest with you, with Molly Qerim, I was a fan initially. She got kind of annoying toward the end, honestly. I'm not necessarily heavily overly sad about this necessarily. In fact, I'll be honest with you. Some of the guest hosts that they've had on the show when she takes time off have actually done a better job, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. There's nothing against Molly. This is my opinion. I don't. Unless she's not great at her job. I just think I've seen better at the job as of late. So this can help ESPN First Take, honestly. Although I will say I have not really watched First Take much in the last couple months. Just too much content, and honestly, I think I'm kind of going over sports content the whole time. But whatever she does, I wish her the best, and and that's just that. Now, before we get out of here, this segment I want to touch on real quick. I did this segment last Friday on the show, but you don't know that. Now, if you listen to the podcast last week, you'll notice that the last 5 minutes of the show was just dead silence. And the reason that was that way, because apparently there was a technical issue where my mic cut off, I guess, or something cut off where you couldn't hear me. You can still see me talking, but you can't hear me. And I did not realize that happened until literally probably a day later. In fact, I need to edit that off on the YouTube page, especially too, and on the audio side. But I was covering on the episode, and this came from, shout out to Vince Russo, who's actually the former writer at WWE from the Attitude Era, and of course WCW and TNA and all that. But I love his content too, for the record. He was talking about something on his podcast, which kind of intrigued me, because I'm not big into conspiracy theories, but I was kind of, fumbling around a little bit on this one. And I was like, this is interesting. Maybe I'll cover this on my podcast. He was talking about 15 celebrities who may be cloned. Now you hear, like, through the years, certain celebrities, through the years that might not be real, that may be cloned, and I never really dived into that stuff. And I'm not saying I'm even doing it now, but I was just curious, what celebrities are out there that are considered clones? So I decided to look up 15 random celebrities. This is what it gave me here. Number 1, Avril Lavigne. The Avril is dead and was replaced by a clone named Melissa. Theory. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. The quote, Avril is dead and was replaced by a clone named Melissa theory, is perhaps the most famous celebrity cloning rumor. It claims that after the success of her debut album, the real Avril died and was replaced by a lookalike. Proponents of this theory point to subtle changes in her facial features, height, and even her handwritings as proof. I've heard that before, randomly. I'm not a big Avril Lavigne fan. I know a couple songs here and there, but I've never really been a fan. But I've heard theories through the years, like randomly, that she may be cloned. We'll see. Number 2, Eminem. Wow. A popular theory suggests that Eminem died in a car crash in 2006 and was replaced by a clone. The evidence cited is a change in his voice, his less aggressive public persona, and a general shift in his rap style. I don't know if I believe that. Eminem seems to the same guy. I think Eminem matured. I think he's just matured and got old. The dude's in his 50s now, I think, or close to it. I think he's a grandparent now, in fact. So I don't know. I just think that's a more of a maturity thing. I don't necessarily believe. This one has been rumored for years. Paul McCartney. The Paul is dead theory is one of the oldest and most enduring. It claims that the Beatles bassist died in a car accident in 1966 and was replaced by a lookalike. Theorists believe there are clues hidden in the Beatles album art, such as on the cover of Abbey Road. I've read actually some legit theories on the Paul McCartney angle of this. Again, I'm not saying I actually believe it, but if you take what they're saying about McCartney face value, if you start believing that, I wouldn't judge you. I really wouldn't. I would not judge you. Again, do I believe it? I have not dived in it deep enough to really give it some credence, but there's some stuff there I've read that's like, oh, that kind of makes sense, actually. I don't know if I believe it or not, but you can sell me on that probably. But we'll see. Number 4, Katy Perry. A bizarre and disturbing theory alleges that Katy Perry is actually John Bonet Ramsey. Wow. The child beauty queen who was murdered in 1996. Remember that case? That was a huge case back in the day. The theory claims that she went into hiding and was reborn as Katy Perry. Never heard that theory before, actually. That's news to me. By the way, that John Bonet Ramsey case was huge in 96. I was 16 at the time. Number 5, Beyonce. Beyonce has been the subject of several cloning theories, often tied to the Illuminati. One popular rumor claimed that she faked a pregnancy with Blue Ivy, and footage of her collapsing baby bump was used as proof. Others suggest she was replaced by a clone in the early 2000s. I don't roll that one, honestly. I just don't. All right, number 6, Miley Cyrus. After she shed her whole Hannah Montana image for a more provocative persona, some theories suggested that the old Miley was killed and replaced with a clone who was easier for the Illuminati to control. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. Number 7, Britney Spears. The Free Britney movement, while a very real and serious legal battle, also fueled some cloning theories. Her public struggles and mental health challenges were interpreted by some as evidence that she was a different person or was being controlled by an unseen force. I've heard that one before too, also in the past. I disagree with that. I don't think she's cloned at all. I just think she has issues. I think Britney's pretty transparent about her issues, and she has issues. God bless her, of course. Number 8, Taylor Swift. Oh boy. A peculiar theory suggests that Taylor Swift is a clone of Zena LaVey, the daughter of the Church of Satan's founder. The evidence is primarily based on a supposed physical resemblance between the two. What? The fuck? Okay, that's all right. Whatever you say. All right, number 9, Kanye West. The rapper and fashion mogul Kanye West has been the subject of recent cloning rumors, fueled by his shifting public behavior and statements. Some believe that the old Kanye was replaced by a clone who was more controversial. No, Kanye West always had issues, mental issues. You don't need to make that up. You don't need to fake Kanye's issues to justify being a clone. Dude's fucked up. End discussion. That simple. Number 10, Megan Fox. After she took a break from the spotlight and then returned with a different look and a shift in her public persona, some fans speculated that she may have been replaced by a clone. Never heard that one before, actually, to be honest. That's new to me. All right, number 11, Justin Bieber. Rumors about Justin Bieber being cloned have circulated, with some theories suggesting that he and Post Malone are the same person. Wow, what? The evidence is based on their voices sounding similar when pitched up or down. I don't see that one whatsoever. That's too much there. All right, number 12, Melania Trump, our First Lady. During her time as First Lady, a number of theories claimed that she was used as a body double or was a clone. The proof was based on photos and videos where her face looked slightly different. This is easy to buy into because of the whole Donald Trump presidency thing. There's been rumors about this for years that she's indeed cloned. I'll be honest with you, not that I believe it, but it wouldn't surprise me if this would be the case. Based on some of the things and obviously the narratives, of course, around it. All right, number 13, Princess Diana. Following her death, a conspiracy theory emerged that she was not killed in a car crash, but was either murdered or went into hiding. Some of these theories also include the possibility that she was cloned. I actually never heard that one before, actually. Never heard that one. I know I don't believe it. I really don't. All right. Number 14, Barack Obama. As with other prominent political figures, there are conspiracy theories that claim former President Obama has been replaced by a clone, a robot, or a body double. All right, now y'all doing too much, bro. Now y'all doing too much. Stop, please. All right, and finally, last one here. Hillary Clinton. During the 2016 election, a rumor circulated that Hillary Clinton was a body double or a clone after she appeared to be in poor health at a public event. This was often tied to other conspiracy theories about her being replaced. I mean, it's Hillary Clinton. Who knows what's the truth about that? Who knows the truth about that? I don't know. I'm not saying to believe all these. I think most of these are bullshit, honestly. But I will say there are a few of them that you can talk me into having a conversation about. Paul McCartney, for example, being one. I think the there you go. Touch on Dolphins. Everything else here is pretty much static. Yeah, Paul McCartney's the only one I really can take to heart, of course. You know what I mean? Other than that, whatever. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm done talking about conspiracies here. I'm on X, EJ Christian 7, Earnestly podcast across all podcast catchers. Check out all the shows this week. We had a great week of shows, actually, including my conversation with Matthew Damien, old friend, author, podcaster, who I've had on the show in about 6 years, which was the last episode that dropped yesterday. Check it out, of course. Great 2-hour conversation with him, or near 2-hour conversation with him. Anyway, Earnestly podcast across all podcast catchers, especially on the video, of course, on YouTube at Earnestly Pod, clips of the show on TikTok at Earnestly Pod, as well as Instagram, Earnestly Pod. Until we see each other again, we will talk soon. Love you guys. Enjoy the weekend of football and stay up. Later.